What's up, everybody?
There you are.
I just have one founder asking for the session link, so you just give me 1 second.
Let's see here. We're going to have Chicago. Ooh, Foxy from Chicago. I'm surprised we haven't met before. I'm also in Chicago. Michigan, the mountains of Colorado, Tampa, Florida, Mexico City. Hi, everyone, but that's not a city. Houston, Texas, Austin local, Columbus, Ohio, LA, Guatemala, another Chicago, Austin, Ypsi, Michigan, Dallas, Milwaukee, Chicago again, DC, Lansing and Grand Rapids, Toronto, Canada. We got another Dallas, Houston, Spain, London, Chicago, Mexico City. Look at this. This is all over the world coming to Startup Mania on March 11th. Yeah, I think Chicago might take the crown, Shelby and John. New York. All right. G, let me know when you want me to begin.
Just let's wait 30 more seconds. Just trying to make sure that I reply to everyone. Oh.
Jason Stacks. That's such a fun last name. Like you are stacks on stacks on stacks.
Just need this person to join.
All right. Gary, you're in Austin right now at a college tour for your daughter, but where will you be? I guess what city are you representing in Startup Mania? We have Miami also in the house. Gary's from Houston. Nice. I think Texas as a state probably has the strongest representation in the tournament. Detroit, Seattle. Yeah, we've got, so you said 30 countries. Do you happen to know how many states in the US, G?
Not really. I mean, I can definitely get you that stat.
Or cities, maybe. Yeah.
Cities? Yeah, that would be easy.
Kara, Chicago, and nice.
Okay, so let's see.
Rob, is your cat coming to Startup Mania? Are you still on mute?
She's not.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought that'd be our mascot.
Well, she can still be a mascot. It's very photogenic. She's an Oakland, California cat. Anybody from Bay Area on the call?
Ooh.
Okay, so we actually received applications from over 100 cities, probably like 108, and 30 of them were from Austin.
Wow. Very cool. Yeah, these are some awesome numbers that we're pulling in for this. All right, shall we begin?
Yes, let's hit it.
Okay. All right, friends, we are super excited for this to be the official kickoff for the top 64 who have been selected for Startup Mania, or at least all of you who could make it live to attend this. We are recording this, so everything we say today will be sent out in the recording afterwards. The presentation we go through will also be shared with you as well. We want to make sure you have as much information as you need to make this a success. We're going to cover several things today, which I will pull up here in my presentation. So, this is our agenda for this call. My goal is that this takes about 25 minutes to get through, and then we are doing Q&A after that. Maybe even faster than 25 minutes. So we'll start with the overview of the tournament. We'll talk about the venue. We'll talk about kind of the actual seeding process and key announcement dates. Then we'll cover off how the rounds work and the scoring for the rounds. We'll share a list of our confirmed judges and VC attendees so far. And then also a little bit about how to make the most of this event and just share some past success stories. We've got a list of some available lodging as well as info on upcoming pitch training and fundraising info sessions as well, and then followed by questions. So most of you, if not all of you, know what you have been accepted to compete in. This is the only pitch event of its kind that exists. No one else does a pitch tournament. If you are in the United States, you probably are familiar with the college basketball March Madness tournament. That is what Startup Mania is modeled off of. We have picked 64 startups. You are competing in a tournament format, and that's what makes this unlike anything else, meaning you're in a head-to-head matchup against one other startup, trying to advance to the next round to face one other startup once again, all the way until we get a winner, where the finals will be held from inside of a boxing ring, and one winner will hoist the Startup Mania Championship belt, as well as get a whole suite of other prizes along with it. All of this, what makes it so exciting is the entire tournament happens in one day. So from the moment we open doors until the end of the tournament, and then the concert and after party after that, it is a ton of energy. It's a ton of excitement. It's a ton of fun, all from start to finish. So you're in for a ride. You're in for, the event. I would say, is again, unlike anything else that's out there. So just to get everyone on the stage here, Startup Mania was born out of a collection of minds of people and is put on by Startup Grind. Many of you are members of your local Startup Grind chapters. But if you're not, so you would know this if you are, but if you're not, Startup Grind is the largest global entrepreneurship community. There are over 300 chapters around the world, and the entire global community is anchored on 3 core values: give first, make friends, and help others. Startup Mania is also anchored on those core values, and you'll see why when you're on site. So Startup Mania 2, after the success of Startup Mania 1 in Miami last year, we bring it to you out of Austin, Texas this year on March 11th, the day before the official start of South by Southwest. Like I mentioned, high energy, March Madness style showdown. It's a pitch tournament, and the finals are held from inside of a boxing ring. Last year's event had over 800 attendees come through the doors throughout the day. We had roughly about 350, which I think we're about this year as well, startup applications. And our judges are all capital deployers, whether they are venture capitalists, angel investors, or just like high net worth individuals who deploy capital or funds. And there are around 16 of them that are participating as judges throughout the day. This video here is a quick just overview from Startup Mania last year, created by one of the attendees.
I kicked off Miami Tech Week with Startup Mania, a March Madness style
You can actually make it bigger.
for the championship belt and a 5.
Can't hear?
You can actually make it bigger if you go full screen.
Oh, I can make it big. Oh, yeah. Sure. You can still see it, yeah?
There you go.
Okay.
Off Miami Tech Week with Startup Mania, a March Madness style pitch competition for the championship belt and a $5,000 cash prize. It all went down at Mana Tech in downtown Miami with panel sessions featuring VCs and so much more. The energy at Startup Mania was electric, but the highlight, a full-on boxing ring with startup finalists literally fought for the title. They even made walk-in entrances to their hype songs. Each finalist pitched their business model and held their own during the Q&A. I was seriously impressed by the quality of the pitches, but the knockout, that came from Cobol Pro. Big shout out to all the finalists and to Startup Grind for putting together a truly legendary event.
So we are.
I kicked off Miami Tech Week with Startup Mania, a March Madness.
All right. That's what we're bringing to you in Austin, Texas this time around. If that sounds exciting, throw some kind of emoji in the chat, please. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So this is the organizing team of Startup Mania. We are all just a band of people who got together and said, let's do something different. Let's do something cool. Let's do something that supports and uplifts the startup community. You have Guillermo Vizcaino, otherwise known as G. He's the one who you've gotten the majority of your emails from regarding Startup Mania. If you've gotten a response to something from me or from Rob, it's probably because we're just stepping in to help, G's overwhelmed inbox and to make sure you get your answers in a timely fashion. But most of the primary communication, if not all of the primary communication or official communication, I should say, comes from G. G is the global community director for Startup Grind. That means he is responsible for over 300 chapters around the world, which means he's responsible for about 15 different time zones around the world, which means he does not sleep.
Oh, stop it.
G, anything else you want to just say here or to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. So I'm also an Excited founder, and I've been through your journey in the past, and it's really exciting for me to being able to build this and support founders through this founder first experience. The whole concept, the whole idea, and everything in between, it's just in order to support you. So that's why we built this tournament, and that's why we're always excited to lift you up through the experience, and of course, getting you to be in front of investors, but also make new friends. I think that's the best part of the whole concept of Startup Mania, because you'll get to meet all of the other 64 founders. But there's also going to be attendees, there's also going to be investors, there's also going to be prizes. So at the end, try to just have a lot of fun and make the best out of it.
Awesome. We also have Maria Gracia Agurto. She goes by MG. She's the founder of Golden Circle, which is a fundraising readiness consulting firm for startups. She'll be leading a free session towards the end of February, just totally focused on how you as a startup, regardless of this competition, how you can be more fundraise ready for investors. We have, to the right of my photo, we have Eugenia Maria DiMarco, or Yuji for short. She is the founder of Sisu Powerhouse, which is a a law firm that supports startups. She's also a venture partner at Big Sky Capital. To the right of Yuji's photo, we have Rob Zweig. Is it Zweig or Zweig? I don't think I've ever asked.
Swag.
We have Rob Zweig representing Unify Ventures. He's also a deal partner at Ganas Ventures. Rob, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Raj. I'll introduce myself by saying that I know all of you. I've been through every deck. I know where all the bones are buried.
Oh my God.
Very, very excited to meet you all in person in Austin. Looking forward to Austin and the energy, the ecosystem there, and the South by Southwest week with all of its activities, bringing great vibes to our event as well. So welcome, everybody. Look forward to meeting you.
Rob, can you share a quick, just for a few seconds, on what's Unify Ventures?
Yeah, Unify Ventures is an advisory and consultant for, particularly for the startup ecosystem, but also for any new venture that an established company would be doing. And I'm based in Lima, Peru, but my experience is both in Latam and US. So I'm trying to build a bridge for people and projects that work across continents effectively, both US and Latam.
Great, thank you. Meanwhile, Ganas Ventures is a VC fund, I believe, based out of San Diego, or at least that's where Lolita's based. So is the fund based out of there as well? Yeah, San Diego.
San Diego, correct.
Yep.
Yes.
And Ganas and Lolita will be representing as one of the judges for Startup Mania, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just to plug there, Raj. Ganas is actively investing. They write checks of $100,000. They look for pre-seed and seed stage companies. So if you fit those criteria, you may be a candidate in March.
Great. All right. And then there's me. Some of you know me, some of you do not. My name is Rajiv Nathan, aka Raj Nation. I am the founder of Startup Hype Man. We focus on pitch development for startups. One of the co-organizers, co-creators of Startup Mania. I'm also the chapter director for Startup Grind Chicago, as well as I'll be the host of Startup Mania all throughout the day and through the finals. And I will be performing a live concert at the after party because I am also a hip hop artist. You can find my music on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever streaming service you use. It's there. My album is called Goat to Market. It is startup themed hip hop. So get yourself familiar with the lyrics heading into the after party, and then you can sing along and vibe with me on stage.
We should definitely create an official playlist for Startup Mania too.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, so moving on. This is our organizing team. We also have about a dozen or more volunteers as well, but these are going to be like your lead contacts until we hit closer to the event, where we may be assigning you like specific subcommittee people, and we'll tell you, hey, this is your main point of contact on this day for this purpose. The venue. We will be emanating Startup Mania 2 out of the Scottish Rite Theater in downtown Austin. So this is like a theater, and this is where we're going to be hosting the competition. We are actually going to be using several different parts of the venue. So what you're seeing there with the stage and everything, that's what we'll be reserving the boxing ring for and the finals. And then different rounds of the tournament throughout the day will be held in different aspects of the venue. So the idea is you want to get to the finals, so you get to pitch on the main stage. And that's where, you get the big audience, or the biggest audience, you get the best visuals, all that stuff. And not only will you pitch from inside the boxing ring on stage, you will also get to choose your walkout music. And I, as the host, will give you a fighter style introduction as you make your way down the aisle and step through the boxing ropes before you begin pitching. You can learn more about the Scottish Rite Theater at the URL along the right side of the page. That is scottishritetheater.org, Rite spelled R-I-T-E. What is the prize you are all competing for? The prize is a combination of things. It's a $5,000 cash prize. It is the championship belt, custom made for Startup Mania. And this thing weighs about, I would say, like 20 pounds. It is not like made of plastic. It is real hardware. You will also win a $5,000 exhibitor package to the Startup Grind Conference. That is in Silicon Valley at the end of April, where there are 150 total startups exhibiting at the conference. There are, what are the stats on that conference? Like 200, 300 investors?
5,000 attendees and at least 600 investors.
Yeah. So you will have an opportunity. Your prize package includes winning an exhibitor package to the conference. In addition to that, you will win a legal contract review package by Sisu Powerhouse, which we showed you on one of the earlier slides, is run by Eugenia. That is worth $5,000 in services. You're also going to get invited to be a guest on the Flying with Founders podcast. So this is a podcast where quite literally you get into a private jet and fly alongside a licensed pilot. His name is Ruben Levinson. He's actually going to be one of the investors on site judging for one of the rounds at Startup Mania. But he has this podcast called Flying with Founders, where he takes a founder literally up into the sky and interviews them while you are flying in a jet. So you will win a spot on that podcast, as well as you'll get invited to stay at Founder House for South by Southwest, which is basically like a huge Airbnb that his company hosts for South by Southwest. You will also win a fundraising partner package from Golden Circle. So we told you Maria Gracia's company on one of the other slides. She's going to work with you and give you basically a fundraising prep package that is worth $5,000. You'll also get a fully comp seat in the Peach Score Accelerator, which is also another $5,000 value. This in total makes our prize package $30K in value, and we are still adding more things into this as we get closer and closer to the date. So the prize package is only going to get better from here. Anything I miss on the prizes, G?
Well, yeah, we will actually get some credits, some perks, some discounts from other partners, including Delta Airlines, Agora, Carta, and a couple others.
Awesome. That's great. So this will just keep getting better as we get closer to the date. So now let's talk about the actual layout of the tournament. So again, if you are familiar with March Madness, like this is probably like, you probably know this by second nature. But if you're not, if you're outside of the US, you don't follow college basketball, you've never heard of the tournament, let us take a moment here to explain how this works. So this is just a direct copy paste of last year's tournament after it had finished. So what this is, so I would say any other pitch competition, there's like 5 to 10 startups that all pitch on stage, and there's just one winner that's picked out of those 5 to 10 startups, and they get anywhere from like 3 to 6 minutes to pitch. In our format, it is a tournament. So you get ranked or seeded, and then you are put in a head-to-head matchup. And then you have to win your matchup to advance to the next round, where you would face the winner of the other matchup that was near you, and so on and so forth. So what you are trying to do is make it all the way to the finals. So at every step, it is beat one other startup. It's not beat 19 other startups or beat 8 other startups. It's beat one other startup to be able to advance. So this is what makes it very, very unique. And on top of that, it is sort of like you get more time as you start to get further in the tournament to actually deliver your pitch. From this, let's go into some of the more fine details. So the way you are seated is like this. So there are 64 total startups. Of the 64, you are grouped into 4 regions of 16 startups each. So let me just go back to this bracket. So like if you can follow my mouse here, and just kind of watch how I'm like tracing. So if I draw the line here and go up and make this kind of box, that is one batch of 16, or that's one region, I should say. It started with 16 And then through elimination, it got to 1 out of that region. So there are 4 total. So if you just look at the 4 corners, there's 4 total regions, each containing 16 startups. You are ranked or seeded 1 through 16 in a specific region. So the 1 seed is the highest seeded startup. The 16 seed is the lowest seeded startup. And then the matchups are designed based on seeding. So in round 1, the 1 seed faces the 16 seed. The 2 seed faces the 15 seed. The 3 seed faces the 14 seed, and so on and so forth. So 7 seed faces the 8 seed. Each region is carrying a variety of startups from both stage and industry type. And the seeding itself is determined by strength of application, as well as background research that we have done on the companies, on each of your companies. So what this means is that the 4 number 1 seeds across the 4 regions are considered the top 4 startups in the tournament overall. The 4 number 2 seeds across the 4 regions are the second best in the tournament, and so on and so forth. What is your seed? We are going to announce the seeds 1 region per day via a LinkedIn selection show video that will get posted on February 23, February 24th, March 3rd, and then March 4th. So we'll announce 1 group of 16 and the exact seedings and matchups on the 23rd, another region on the 24th, and then another and another. Unlike the basketball tournament, where regions are kind of grouped on geography, we are not doing that. We are spreading out type of startup and type of industry and stage across the 4 regions. And the names of the regions are named after our sponsors and partners who are supporting Startup Mania. So it won't be like the Southwest Regional. It'll be like the Code Launch Regional, as an example. Are we tracking so far? Just put a yes in the chat if we're tracking with this so far. Okay, great. So now let's talk about the rounds and the scoring. So in round 1, which is the round of 64, you have 1 minute to pitch and you get no slides. If you win in round 1, you advance to round 2, the round of 32. You also have 1 minute to pitch here, 60 seconds, and no slides. If you win, you make it to, we'll call it, I think I did super. We're going to call it the Sweet 16 just to make it easy to say. You will advance to the Sweet 16. You now have 2 minutes to pitch. Again, you do not get slides. If you make it past that, and that should be Elite 8, not Grade 8. If you make it out of the Sweet 16 and you win, you make it to the Elite 8. Once again, 2 minutes, no slides. Your goal is to make it to the final 5 or the Fab 5. So why is it 5 and not 4? I'll tell you in a minute. But once we get to that final 5, now it's 3-minute pitch with slides and you're pitching from inside of the ring. Also of note, once we hit the final 5, now it is no longer head-to-head. Now all 5 startups are pitching against each other to determine 1 winner out of the 5, and that winner is declared the winner of Startup Mania. So let's talk about this 5th startup. So we go from the Elite 8 down to the 4, but why is it a final 5? That is because new to this year, we've added a consolation second chance pool. So what this means is that everyone is going to be guaranteed at least 2 pitches in Startup Mania. So if you lose, let me just go through this here. So the primary bracket that we talked about on the last slide is matchup based. So you win your matchup and you advance, which means every round you have a 50% chance of advancing to the next round because you're pitching against one other startup until you get to the Fab 5. Now, on the other side is the consolation pool. So after that first round where 64 startups pitch, there are 32 winners and 32 losers. If you are one of the 32 losers, you are placed in the consolation pool. The 32 in the consolation pool are now in 4 groups of 8 startups. So you'll stay in that region you are in but just with the other startups that didn't win the first round. Now your job is you have to pitch against all 8 in your group, and one winner from your group will get selected to advance to the next round in the consolation pool. You will give a 60-second pitch here. So what that's going to do is leave us with 4 startups from each region out of the consolation pool. In the afternoon, these 4 startups will then pitch against each other, and one winner will get added to the finals, making it now the final 5 or the Fab 5. This is a 2. I didn't put on the slide, my bad, but that when you're down to these last 4 here, it'll be a 2-minute pitch. So if you lose in the first round, you have an opportunity to make it back into the finals by first, can you beat 7 other companies in your region? And if yes, can you then beat the 3 other companies that make up the last 4 survivors of the consolation pool? Can you put a capital letter C in the chat if you understand the consolation pool and double elimination format of the tournament? Okay, great. Jonna Montgomery, you said I guess C. So if you could just clarify either in the Q&A maybe in the Q&A section of what you mean, and we can clarify that for you. Shiv, you said, would you be sending over these slides to us? Yes, yeah, you'll get this and the recording. And then Nathan, what, if anything, is significantly different from last year? That would be the consolation bracket that we're doing this year, as well as it being last year we had the Elite 8 all be out of the boxing ring, and it just took way too long to get through. So now it's 5 startups that are going to be in the boxing ring. Okay, so I think we are moving it along well. Okay, I don't understand the region breakdown. Does each region have one winner, or is it one global winner? What are the specific regions? So let me clarify that. So I'm going to go back to the slide that had the master bracket on it. So just pay attention closely here, Mike, and anyone else who's still confused. So just, you can see my mouse cursor, right, G?
Yes.
Okay, so watch how I'm just kind of like drawing a square here. So this here is one region of 16 startups. So it started here in round 1. You had 16 startups here, ending with Pollen Sense, and then starting with Reach Pathway, moving down, that's another region of 16. And then up here, Banquish going down to Cluvy is 16 startups. And then Carepool going down to Cobalt Pro is 16 startups. So those are the 4 regions of 16 startups each. If you're on the winner's side of the bracket, like you don't get dropped into the consolation pool, there will be one winner that makes it out of each region, and that's the final 4. If you get put into the consolation pool because you lost in the first round, you are trying to fight your way back into the tournament, and you would get added as the 5th company of the final 4, making it the final 5 or the Fab 5. The regions themselves, just to reiterate, are not at all geographically based. So you could call them sections instead of regions, if that's easier to think about. We are creating the regions to create a pretty even and good spread of stages of startups and industries of startups. The names of the regions or sections will be based on our sponsors. So like, for example, we might have like this whole section here is called the Code Launch Regional. This here might be called the Agora Regional, and so on and so forth. So correct. Regions are not geographical, they're just groups. So if it's easier to think about it as Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, and I can even edit the slide to say that, so it's easier to understand. Totally doable, or 4 corners, yeah. Okay, let's keep it moving. So it looks like the majority of us understand the consolation pool. Now let's talk about the rounds and the judging and the scoring. Each round, you're going to pitch to a different judge. What that means, and this is going to work to your benefit, round 1 and round 2 are both 60-second pitches. You can and you should use the same pitch in those rounds. Round 3 and round 4, the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, are both 2-minute pitches. You can and you should pitches in those rounds because it's going to be different people who are watching you and scoring you. In rounds 1 and 2, the round of 64 and the round of 32, it is one judge. In rounds 3 and 4, so that's the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, this is 2 judges. If you make it into the final 5, it is 3 judges with Q&A. Of the 3 judges, they are allowed 2 total questions per startup. The reason for this is to keep things moving along. Last year we had 4 judges for the finals, and they all got to ask a question, and then Q&A ended up being an extra 5-6 minutes on top of the pitches. So this keeps it moving smoothly. Nathan, to answer your question, whatever the timestamp is on the allotted time you get, yes, use the same pitch again for that round. So yes, when you have a 2-minute pitch in the Sweet 16, and then you also have a 2-minute pitch in the Elite 8, use the same pitch. This is going to make it so you don't have to remember 5 unique pitches throughout the day. So I just think it's easier on yourself to just use the same pitch, and also because you're going to be pitching someone else. So they would not have been scoring you, in the previous round. The judges will be given scorecards to fill out for each pitch. When we send this to you, I will link to a copy of the scorecard for you on this slide. But I'm going to share a different screen here for a second and show you the scorecard so you understand. And just again, to clarify for everybody, you will all get a copy of the scorecard sent to you. So in the round of 64, you have 1 minute to pitch, no slides. These are the criteria you will be graded on. Problem and solution fit, a maximum of 5 points can be allotted to you. How well do you understand meaning we're asking the judge, how well do you, the judge, understand the problem being solved and the product? 5 points for positioning. How well is the product positioned relative to existing solutions in the market? And then the third one is delivery, stage presence, and storytelling. Is the pitcher engaging? Are they confident? And is it easy to follow? How well do they tell a compelling story given the constraints? So I think that's key. Given the 60-second constraint and no slides, how well do they tell a compelling story? So the top score you could get is 15. In the event that there is a tie in the score, the judge will that's why they're a judge. They will make a judgment call of which startup they believe edges out the other and advances. In the round of 32, it is the exact same scorecard, but it's a different judge. And that's why I say use the same pitch in round 1 as you did in round 2. When we get to the Sweet 16, now we've added an extra judge. So there's 2 judges that are scoring you, and we've added an extra category of judging. So it's the exact same fields as before, but now we've added strategy. You can score up to 5 points. And this is focused on how sound is the strategy, factoring in go-to-market, traction, projections, and team. Now, again, you only have 2 minutes to pitch. So you want to think about how do you choose to balance the information across those 2 minutes to get the best story out as well. And this is where, a little bit of strategy might come into play for yourself, because maybe you think, hey, you know what? I'd rather, I know we might not have a ton of traction right now, but we've got a really strong team. So I'm going to spend 25 seconds talking about the team, but only 3 seconds talking about our traction. For a company that has a lot more traction, maybe they choose to focus there instead. So that is how the round of 16 is scored, the Sweet 16. And then the Elite 8 is scored the exact same way. Mike, you said a 90-second pitch? No, 60-second, 2-minute, and then 3-minute is the finals. So Sweet 16 and Elite 8 are both same exact scorecards and the same 2-minute pitches. When we get to the Fab Five, it's all of this, and then we have added one more column. So now there's specifically a column for team. In the previous rounds, in the previous 2 rounds, team was part of strategy. Now team is its own scoring criteria. How compelling is the team? And I'm specific here to say not pedigree alone. So the point is, if you do not have a Harvard degree, it does not automatically score against you. We are factoring in knowledge, of the subject, passion, things like that. And then in the delivery, stage presence, storytelling field, we've added one more sort of thing to consider, and that's X factor. So that would add this part here. Whoops, sorry. This last question. How much of a special X factor is there? Like energy, vibe, relatability, etc. Personal story. Those would be the kinds of things that are factored into X factor. You now have 3 judges scoring you. You can score a maximum of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 points in the finals. In the finals, and I should say this as well, in the so I'm going to go back for a second. In the first 2 rounds, it's just total score wins. In the round of 16 and the round of 8, it's average score. And as well as in the finals, it's average score across the 3 judges. So in the unlikely scenario, judge 1 scores you a 30 and judge 3 scores you a 0. And then judge 2 also scores you a 0. Your average score is going to be, 10? Again, that's very unlikely that would happen, but we're taking average score in those last couple of rounds. That is our rubric, and that's what you can build your pitches off of, study it, know it, and that's what, again, our judges will be using. Let me go back to the presentation, and I will leave room for questions on the rubric in the final question section. I just want to get through the other content first. If you are in the consolation pool, you're going to follow the same scorecard rules. So you have one more opportunity for a 60-second pitch and one more opportunity for a 2-minute pitch. So you will follow the 60-second scorecard and the 2-minute scorecard in the consolation pool. Here's a list of our confirmed investors so far who will be in attendance. G, is this judges or this is judges and investors who are attending?
This is mainly judges.
Yeah, this is judges. All right. So this list will grow a little bit, but this is at least who we have confirmed so far, and we're gathering more over the next few weeks. Mike, good question. After each pitch, do the judges give their results right away, or is it after a few minutes? We wait for all the startups in that group to finish out, and then we announce the winners of each region. So what we're doing here is creating some anticipation for the results versus just saying right away who the winner is. We also have to not only gather all the winners, but then update the bracket and stuff like that. So after one round has completed itself, then is when we announce the winners. Okay, just some key agenda items. I want to hand it over to Rob for this part. Rob, whether you want to use a screen share or not is up to you, but can you just let everybody know just some key times of day that they should be aware of, and what he's explaining here? Again, we will also send you this information.
Yeah, thank you, Raj. I'll try to keep this simple and not use the screen. If I have to explain in more detail, I can do that. Can you guys hear me fine?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Oh, okay, super. So in terms of the organization of the day, I'd like to separate it into 4 pieces. The first piece is organization. That starts with arrival and orientation. Don't underestimate this. I think everyone who's joined here today has taken a step forward in terms of putting your best foot forward in Austin, because Raj has gave you a great explanation of how everything works, and you'll have a better understanding not only of how things work, but how to prepare between now and then. And similarly, the organization in the morning will get you comfortable about the physical layout, where to go, so you can concentrate on pitching, not moving around and trying to figure small irrelevant details. So the orientation, the doors will open at 8, and at 9 a.m. We'll do Raj will deliver specifics about the day. So by say 9:30 a.m., everyone should be clear about how things are organized, where the regions are, and where to go. So that's phase one. Phase two is the rest of the morning, and that's the competition focused section. It's really a high energy, pretty intense experience for founders because it's back to back pitches. So the first two rounds that Raj discussed of 1 minute pitches will be run back to back in the 4 separate regions. So the round of 64 and then the round of 32. And so for that period of the morning, you can all focus on your 1 minute pitch. You'll compete head to head. Winners will advance. Those who lose in the first round, as Raj said, you get a second chance to come back and do another pitch. So by the end of that second phase, everyone will have done at least 2 minute pitches, and we'll be down to 16 competitors for the afternoon. As a founder, what do you get out of that? From what we've heard from founders in Startup Mania 1, the first and most important thing is the experience and intensity of going through those head-to-head pitches. That's very different than doing your head-to-head pitch on a Zoom call. That's what they told us. So there's learning there. Second thing, we have heard from founders and we can see it. There's a huge value for you in terms of preparing, executing, and learning from making a 1 minute pitch. So when you leave Startup Mania 2 in March, you're going to feel so much more confident about explaining your startup, your team to potential investors, whether you do it that day or the rest of the year. This is what we've heard from founders, is that it's a great learning experience and forces them to really hone in on what makes you and your team and your startup special. So that's the second phase. That's how it works, and that's what you get out of it. Okay. As I mentioned, founders have told that's a pretty intense morning. So we're not, in principle, we're not scheduling anything else other than the pitches. And after that intensity, you get a free lunch. Okay. We're going to take everybody out to lunch so you can decompress. For those of you who are winners, you can take a deep breath and you have to advance. For those of you who haven't made it through the brackets, the lunch is your transition, really, because also at the lunch will be investors and sponsors, and so you'll be seated with other founders, and you'll begin to make a transition to getting value from the rest of the day, which is the network. Okay. First of all, founders have told us that they found it surprisingly beneficial to be in the same place at the same time with 64 other founders going through the same life experience, and that you all get to share that experience, learn from each other. That starts at lunch. Believe it or not, founders have told us, not only was it fun to meet people in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, going through the same experience, but we actually had people tell us they got some tips from other founders who had seen their pitch. They had conversations in the afternoon about applying, development tactics that different founders have, and even go to market sorts of things they got learning. So that starts with lunch. And then you come back to what I'll call phase 3 and 4 in the afternoon. Phase 3 is a combination of the next rounds of the competition that Raj has explained. But there we also offer different sorts of different sort of content for all of you, but particularly for those of you who no longer have to compete. That's where investors, partners, sponsors even workshops and panels will be organized, and so there'll be plenty of activities for all of you, but it'll be particularly beneficial for those of you who no longer have to pitch. So that's the afternoon, and then the last phase, that's the evening. That's organized principally around the big final coming up in the boxing ring, as Raja has described. But we're also make this a very much founder first activity at the close. There's a happy hour. There's the finals, of course. We would love it to have everybody attend and enjoy that experience. And of course, the great concert that Raj will perform after the finals are done. So that's I think simple description of how the day will be divided up. Want to emphasize again, getting there on time, getting the orientation at 9 a.m. Will be very important to allow you to understand in more detail what I just described. And most importantly, I think, get you comfortable, get you physically, mentally ready so you can go out and pitch, impress investors and your colleagues. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. We will send as we get closer, we will send you like a full agenda. There are still just certain timestamp items we're sorting out. So once we have that finalized, we will send that to you. But check-in will be starting at 8 a.m. You've got to be fully checked in by 9, because at 9 o'clock is when we are going to do like, hey, everybody, here's a recap of the agenda for the day, and here's where you need to be for your pitch at this time. Let me continue on here, and then I'll get to some of the additional questions that are in the chat. So I just want to cover a couple of things here. These are just some success stories from last year's Startup Mania. On the left side, you have Tisha from Wellwater Finders. So Code Launch is one of our primary sponsors. Tisha and Wellwater Finders learned of Code Launch because of their presence at Startup Mania. And even though Wellwater Finders got eliminated in the first round at Startup Mania, they applied to Code Launch and ended up becoming, later in the year, the Code Launch World Champion, which got them a $50,000 investment. And as well as, I just caught up with them last week, the publicity from that not only got them the $50K on site, but got them tons of investor follow-up inquiries, as well as customer inquiries as well. We have the winner of Startup Mania last year, just talking about how much it helped the journey not feel so lonely. And then you have Chris on the right, who's actually competing again in Startup Mania this year, just sharing how she was able to use the momentum from this to get paid pilots with some major companies that are on their target list, grow their revenue, and then start to plan out their next funding round as well. So like, how do you make the most of your time at Startup Mania? Get to know your fellow competitors. Like a collaboration, a customer, or a really helpful introduction is almost always right around the corner. We had companies last year who were finding ways they could integrate their products with one another. We had companies last year end up going and being like, hey, I know this investor, they're not in my vertical, but I would love to introduce you to them, things like that. We even had one startup, I think, even exited, right, G, after Startup Mania, because they deployed their technology like live at Startup Mania, and it was received so well by someone that they ended up making an acquisition offer. So that's what you want to do, is just like get to know your other competitors. Tell people you're competing. G has sent all of you in that main confirmation email. There is a link to a kind of create your own graphic. All you have to do is just add your headshot to a social media graphic that's already been created for you, and then you download it, and then you can post that, and it tells people you've been selected and you're attending Startup Mania. The other things I would say are like, share in your email newsletter if you have one. Send personal emails to the high value contacts in your network. Invite people to attend and watch you. this is happening right before the official start of South by Southwest. So there will be a lot of people who are in Austin at this time. Recruit people to come and watch you pitch and support you. Train and practice in advance. Do not wing it. You should know your 1 minute. I know you might not ever get to the 2 minute, but you should know in advance what's your 1 minute, what's your 2 minute, and what's your 3 minute pitch. My recommendation is to use the content from one pitch as the basis for your next pitch. So what that means is like, kind of just like keep adding on for the extra minute. Don't try and rewrite your entire story for 3 minutes and have it be worlds different than what you said in your 1 minute. Embrace the energy, live the core values, give first, make friends, help others, and then stay for other South by events that are happening throughout the rest of the week as well. We will send a master link that has a list of unofficial and official South by Southwest events that's curated by one of the like main people in Austin who posts about the events that are happening that week. Once we get our hands on that, we will send that to you. I think the other thing too is, and I'll explain this more about like the training and the practicing side of it, but just to come back to the scorecard component for a second, you saw one of the categories was like delivery and stage presence. I want to just share a quick anecdote. When I have used a similar scorecard for an event in the past, there was a direct correlation between how a founder scored in delivery and stage presence and how they scored in the other categories. So someone could have a really good pitch, but if they delivered it flat or they sounded unsure of it, it made the judge feel like they couldn't understand the problem and the solution very well. So it's about what you say, but it's also about how you can deliver in the moment and master your body language, master your tone, your pace, your tempo, things like that. So let me talk about quickly lodging options here. And I know we're running long, so I want to get through this quick. These are potential lodging options that we have researched, just available to you. These are all in the downtown Austin area. And then the second option, the second box at the bottom, we talked about the founder house opportunity. So the Startup Mania champion will get invited to stay for free. So like if you were to book founder house for the couple days that you're there for Startup Mania, you would get reimbursed for that. Or you could elect to have the next 3 days comp. So either from March 10th to 12th or 12th to 15th or the full 5 days, you can choose to stay at Founder House. This is going to be a shared, like basically like a huge Airbnb in the Cesar Chavez district. You'll get breakfast and coffee every day. There'll be at least one group dinner. There are snacks and beverages at the house as well. There's a daily like groupthink session, and then tons of opportunity to meet the other people who are there staying at the house. There's obviously a limited amount of people who can stay there though. So if this is a lodging option that you are interested in, G has already sent you a link in a past email with further information and how to get in touch and apply to be in Founder House. But we can also reshare that link with you as well. I would book soon though, because the prices are going up given that it is South by Southwest. Let's talk about upcoming training sessions. So next Wednesday, February 11th at 12 p.m., we will send you all an invitation for this. I will be leading a pitch training webinar, giving you the strategy to build your 1 minute pitch. So this would be your round one, your round two pitch. So I'll be doing a free webinar on that. And then you will have an option for those who want to. There is a paid upgrade to do a specific like concentrated cohort training afterwards, only for the people who want to do that. But the upfront initial webinar is free. There is also on February 25th, Maria Gracia from Golden Circle is going to lead an investment readiness session also for free. And she's going to talk through like essentially how to get like your deal room together, how to start thinking about your investor outreach strategy, et cetera. And then of course on March 11th is Startup Mania itself. Let's go to the questions. So let me see here. I'll go to the Q&A section first. Alex asked, is there a suggested structure for a point in pitch? Need to mention raise part or just focus on the points in the scorecard? Attend the pitch training webinar next week. I'll talk about the 1 minute formula. But then and that 1 minute formula will cover what's in the round 1, round 2 scorecards. And then I would really focus in on what else is in the scorecards for the following rounds. And also, I want to just clarify here, like as you build out that pitch, like while you're being scored on those things, you also want to make sure it sounds good too. Like, don't just mechanically be like, our go-to-market strategy is, our projections are, and I think this might be obvious, but I just want to clarify, like, how do you make it part of the overall pitch in a way that sounds compelling and persuasive and interesting? But like, you don't necessarily need to go outside of the boundary lines of what's in the scorecard. Go ahead, G.
I just wanted to say that all the opportunities and all the sessions that Raj shared previously are only or are exclusively for the founders that are going to be part of Startup Mania. So just keep in mind that these sessions, they're uniquely to you or your co-founders. So if you want to, you are only going to be able to join those sessions. They're not being shared with anyone within the community or the attendees. So this is like extra perks and opportunities just for you as part of the tournament.
Yeah. Let me see what else here. So someone asked about, can you swap out presenters in different rounds? If they are a co-founder of your company or someone you trust to represent your company, yes. Last year we had a company that made it to the Sweet 16. Did Thea Jobs make it past the Sweet 16, or did they get eliminated there? Rob, do you remember?
They did not.
Okay. So we had a company make it. I think they got to the third round, and they actually did, I think round 1, they did one founder. Round 2, they did the other co-founder. And round 3, they co-pitched. So they like kind of passed it back and forth. You are welcome to do that if you feel you can do it successfully. So just keep that in mind. However,
Raj,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but remember we had Neuro4 who had both founders pitch. They both founders pitched during their pitches, and they made it to the boxing ring.
Yeah, they were one of the last 4 or 8 startups that were left. So yeah, they had both founders pitching. I want to clarify though, you can shuffle out your founders who are pitching, but for the private lunch invitation, only one representative per company is invited. Otherwise, there's the room we'll have to rent out will be insanely large. So I hope that answers that question. Let me see what else here. Yes, we'll send over the slides. Where can you register your co-founder? Good question. Send an email to me, Rob, and Guillermo saying my co-founder will also be pitching in the tournament. Here's their name and their email address, and copy them on the email. So for anyone who does plan to have a co-founder pitch, or what, maybe you're not the one pitching and they are instead, please let us know through an email. Okay, let's see what else here. There's a lot that went through the chat, so I just want to make sure that I caught it. I think G answered. Okay, so that was answered already. Do we have videos of the Miami pitches? We did not have official videography for the pitches. There are a handful of just like cell phone videos though that we can dig up and try and share out. Should we take loads of pics of ourselves, or will you have photographers there who will share pics of each of us while we are pitching? I would recommend taking loads of pictures of yourselves. We will have a photographer on site, but because particularly in rounds 1 and 2, there are pitches that are happening simultaneously throughout different parts of the venue. we obviously can't have like that person cannot be in two places at once. So just, we're going to try and get photo of as many people as we can, but also take photos of yourselves or have someone, take a photo or a video of you. Also, because even if we are capturing some of the pitches on video, it'll probably take us a couple of weeks after the event to get the videos downloaded and put them online. So if you want like instant access to your pitch, even just for the sake of like watching if you win and you want to watch yourself back to think about what do you improve for the next round, it would be helpful if on your own cell phone, you're capturing your pitch. Okay. Anyone else have a question here? I know about half the people have had to jump at this point, but does anyone else have a question? Okay. We are super excited to bring this event again, everybody. It's a ton of fun. You're all going to love it. You're going to have a great time. As long as you go in with the mindset that you're going to have a great time, you will have a great time. We will be in touch with this deck. We'll be in touch with this recording. And you will also get a link to register for the pitch training session next Wednesday, 12 p.m. Central Time. All right, friends, have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon.